Do Beautiful Beards Anonymous. How about that?
I mean, I don't like the beautiful part.
I guess we can kick it
Hold on.
off-ish.
Hold
Oh,
on.
hold on.
All right. Let's figure it out. I think MSP Unfiltered kind of hits the nail on the head anyway.
Yeah.
Um, let's go with that.
Welcome to anybody who's tuning in. My name is Owen Phillips. I'm the Marketing Director for Stratus Services. This is our first episode of what we're calling MSP Unfiltered for the time being. I'm joined with Jason Isenhart, our Senior Systems Engineer here at Stratus. So I'm going to throw some questions Jason's way. He has no prior knowledge of these questions. I literally pulled them off of either forums or news headlines, and we're just going to get his take on them as one of our security experts and someone who helps companies navigate their cybersecurity landscape. First one. Oh, do you want to say anything, Jason? Do you want to introduce yourself at all?
You're asking me to talk a lot here, so I will talk after you give questions.
Okay, sounds good. So this comes from the R Tech Support Reddit. The headline is Constant Fear of Being Hacked, which we do not use the term hacked. We like the terms of there was an incident or there was some kind of event. But basically, the take home of this is a couple weeks ago, this individual had a compromised account. So they are aware that they were hacked. Their Instagram, their Steam account, and their Amazon were all compromised in some capacity. So they went in, they changed all of their passwords for those accounts. They made a new email that is apparently more secure than it was before, and then redid all of their accounts based on this new email with new passwords and the whole 9 yards. However, 2 weeks go by, and they notice that new accounts are now being breached and there have been new incidences. So this person is now just like super paranoid about everything. They did as much wiping as they possibly could, backtracking to try and manage this incident. What advice would you give someone in this scenario? I know that we harp all the time on having a password manager. Is that enough in this situation to like back out? Where would you go from here?
So typically, when someone gets breached, there's a lot of red flags you can look for, or what we call indicators of compromise. If it's Office 365, you can look at audit logs to see how it happened. Maybe not the root cause, but how it happened. And then you can trace back timestamps to figure out maybe what the root cause was, identify. When you see an incident happen that happens once, you change all your passwords, you think you're safe, and then you do it all again, and it happens all over again. And you're like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Typically, that doesn't lean to malware as far as like phishing that happened. It doesn't lean to like email malware. What it typically leans to is someone either has either AnyDesk control. AnyDesk is a popular file sharing, or not file sharing, remote desktop sharing software that's used by malicious actors, and they're watching you. That's one. It could be someone hijacked your browser session. A session ID in a browser is what, when you hit remember me on a browser and you come back to like office.com and it just signs you in, that remember me can be hijacked. Just the same as like your phone can be hijacked via the SIM if you have an eSIM. So being able to identify these quickly at the first indicator of compromise is very important. Locking down accounts and seeing what activity happens after the account's locked down, changing password, resetting MFA, using MFA on everything, and then using MFA in a more secure environment. So I've seen people use MFA like text message to your phone or a message to your email. But if your computer's compromised, whether it's your computer or your email, they're just getting those codes. Same with session IDs. So having them in a proper application that is secured, like 1Password or Keeper, something like that, that can definitely.
Okay. Yeah. And then I guess the other part of this that I didn't state was that they did a reset of their PC and then they did a fresh install of the, whatever hardware they're running, whatever operating system they're running via USB. Does that give you any more information about this or?
Sure. The answer can be a lot of different things. For example, on my personal computer, I have a separate hard drive that I install video games on, things like that. If malware is sitting on a secondary drive, then it can be executed again.
Gotcha.
That can happen. Something you think on the internet that is safe may not be safe, and you've compromised yourself again. If you don't know where the original compromise comes from, the chance of re-compromising yourself is high, specifically in the marketplace of malvertising, people clicking on malicious emails, things like that.
Yeah. And then, so this person obviously sounds like a lay person, not like tech savvy enough to know that something is going on, but maybe not deep in the weeds. Do you have any recommendations of, someone who does not have this full slate of tools, they're not running like next gen antivirus level enterprise software, anything that just the regular person can do?
The biggest thing that you can do is get rid of a lot of the baseline antiviruses and malware, like McAfee, Norton, all of those malware bytes. Malware bytes isn't horrible, but it's not the best. What a lot of people don't understand is Windows Defender that comes with the Microsoft operating system, whether you're on Windows 10, 11, Home Pro, or in some cases even Server, are more than enough for the end user. They don't need anything else. Microsoft has the biggest culmination of data of any other organization on the planet. Given that, they can handle an antivirus platform.
Gotcha.
The
Meaning
recent
that they have like the database of knowing what the
yeah.
major threats are of this point in time.
Yeah, so
Okay.
previously Defender was a really hard to use tool and it really wasn't the greatest. And then they fixed it. The lingering problem that Defender still has today is it's not manageable at scale. There
Okay.
is ways to do it with certain Microsoft licensing, but from an MSP perspective, using tools that can manage it across an entire organization, including alerting, is really beneficial. And many MSPs are moving to manage Defender because it is so powerful.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, you heard it here. Use Defender, and if you have something of this nature, doing the reinstall is a good place to start, but you really need to make sure that you're having the multi-factor, and then also there might be stuff hiding in the back end on secondary hard drives and whatnot. So caution.
So to double back on that really quick, I want to
Yeah.
say that the average person who thinks they know IT, they probably have something what I like to call Google foo. Google foo. A lot of us learn from research, but there's a lot of knowledge that cannot be gained unless you've been in the environment and worked in this marketplace for a long time. So when you reach out for support to someone, make sure it's someone you can trust or someone who you can sue. Someone you can hold accountable. Because when they mess up, you need evidence. You need to be able to prove that, well, I hired so and so to do a job, take care of my computer and secure it, and they failed. And you need to be able to hold people accountable.
So Reddit forums are not where you would go to get this kind of advice.
Pretty typically, no.
Okay, so my second question, we're just doing two today, two quick questions to do our primer. So there was an article published on Axios and it says AI is perfecting scam emails, making phishing hard to catch. So this is not the first time I've seen this flavor of headline, and it kind of comes in two buckets or two avenues. One is threat actors are using AI to make grammatically beautiful emails, so they actually sound like they're coming from either the company or the person that they're historically. When you see these emails, the Persian prince who's going to make all of your dreams come, you see it, the punctuation's terrible, the grammar's terrible. So on top of the fact that it doesn't make sense that this is happening, you can kind of red flag your way through the words are not right. AI is changing that to where the grammar can sound really good. It's coming from your UPS driver. Oh, it fell off the truck and I just need 6 Amazon gift cards to get it back to you, or whatever it might be, which is a different type of red flag. So there's that side of the AI machine. And then the other side being the fake videos of, hi, like, just to confirm that I'm this person, here's this video showing you that I am this person. Please forward the check to this address or whatever it might be. I know that we push our clients to do training, various different kinds of cybersecurity training, cybersecurity awareness training. But are there any other things that people can look out for with the rise of AI, both in emails and then also these videos?
Phishing, I mean, I've worked in this industry a long time. And one thing I've always said about phishing is the one thing AI can never do and the one thing phishing can never do is imitate relationships. Relationships are the one way that in an organization that you can do things and always be safe. Another word that I'll use for relationships is process. Having a process. So payroll is a big one. We recently had an incident not within our company, but with one of our clients where they had a payroll redirected to a foreign account. The process of how it happened was pretty mischievous, and they actually had the proper documentation, the proper letterhead, everything. But what they didn't do was verify with the user. They never called to verify the user.
Yeah.
If you call for a doctor's appointment and you want to set up an appointment, they don't just say, "Okay, Jane Doe," and show up at 9:30. They verify your name. They verify your social. Same thing when you're going, or date of birth. Same thing when you're going in for surgery. They verify it multiple times. It's on your wrist.
Yeah.
They verify it. They verify things multiple times to be safe so mistakes aren't made. With
Yes.
payroll and with all of the phishing emails that typically happen, a quick verification, especially nowadays with like Teams and other chats that people use at work, it takes seconds.
Yeah.
And
Because nobody's hacking your Teams account to, direct to a person, correct? Or even just like
I mean,
walking by the person's cubicle if you're in office, like, hey, did you mean to send this?
the simple answer is the company needs a process for how this happens. How does payroll get changed? It's not, a lot of companies have, you fill out this form, you send this form in, and they change it. But there
Gotcha.
should be a verification process. That is not the same manner of which you received the form.
For sure. So
And
this takes even a step beyond the cybersecurity side, and it comes down to general policies of your organization.
right. The weakest link in every organization, security wise, will always be the user. The weakest link is Stratus is us. The worse we do, the worse the company is.
The weakest link is your marketing person who doesn't have the same chops.
That's why we are here for you. And that's why I get maybe another topic another day, why you should always use a VPN as a marketing person, why you should always secure your devices, because you just never know. And I will promise you, there's no one that owns a business that doesn't have IT that is 100% safe. It just never happens. So with phishing emails, a lot of times, if it just seems out of the realm of normal, it's not legit. And verification every time.
Yep, for sure. Well, that's our first episode. Quick wrap up for MSP Unfiltered. I am Owen Phillips, Marketing Director for Stratus. This is Jason Isenhart, our Senior Systems Engineer. He also does our help desk. He's really good with people. We like having him around. And I guess if you have questions, you can always send them our way at info@stratus-services.com, or you can visit our website, same stratus-services.com. Until next time.
Thank you.
See you, Jason.
See you.